This man puckered up his ass, sending a big fart to the boss. No, it's two.
No, you got more.
But the boss didn't react at all. Pressed the remote control in his hand. Time returned to normal. But the boss frowned at the taste of his mouth. It stinks.
Hard to rise. I taste shit. Stacy, did you put shit in my lunch? Oh.
Man, not enough relief. Pressed the pause button in his hand. Slapped the boss 2 more times.
Wow, I just got a big headache. Wow.
I just got a big headache. Wow. The man who was suffering from life came to the mall that day. His tired body made him want to lie down when he saw the bed. He turned his head to see a universal supply store next to him. Driven by curiosity, step by step, the man walked inside. There was a strange old man at the counter. After listening to the man's request, the old man took out a remote control from the shelf. He emphasized to the man that the remote control was universal. The only condition was that it was non-returnable. The man took the remote control home and prepared to continue working overtime. His pet dog was barking at him. The man was distracted. He picks up the remote control and presses it against the dog.
I am down.
The power of this remote control is not only here. The dog is too annoying to walk. Then just fast forward until the dog finishes going to the bathroom. The wife is too annoying. Then just mute the sound. Parents come over for a dinner party. Men choose to fast forward directly in order to work well overtime. The man even omits the night exercise time. Now he can finally work well. After all, his boss promised him he'll get a promotion if he gets this order. To work, the man fast forwards and omits almost everything. Hurry up and hurry up. Finally, the plan is ready, but the customer is not satisfied. The man saw the situation, directly changed the Japanese spoken by the client into English, and turned up the volume. He understood what the client meant. When the client came back, the man simply tore up the proposal. He reworked it according to the client's comments. Both sides hit it off immediately. After successfully taking the single, the man was satisfied. He overdrew his bonus to buy gifts for his children, buy his wife the bag of her dreams. But who knows that the next day, the boss has gone back on his word. He said he would give you a promotion after the next order. He was so angry that he suspended his time on the spot. He slapped his boss a few times. After venting his frustration, the man came to his senses. Why so much effort? Fast forward to the day of the promotion is not good. But when the man fast forwarded to the promotion, he was completely dumbfounded. The black-hearted boss actually delayed for 1 year. The universal remote control activated the cruise mode in the meantime. Let the man try to keep a low profile to avoid being found out. The wife thought there was something wrong with their relationship. A big fight with the man. Just as the man was about to argue, the scene in front of him rapidly fast-forwarded. The remote control actually started on its own. The man was confused. He called the strange old man. The other side explained that the remote control had an intelligent memory. It will automatically fast-forward according to the man's past habits. For example, when arguing with his wife, family gatherings, and nighttime sports. The man is stunned. He put the remote control in the old man's hand to back off, but then he turns his head. The remote control reappears in his hand, whether he flings it out the door, or threw it in the trash, or even stepped on it and crushed it. The remote control would reappear in his hand intact. The old man says to the man, it had been sold, no refunds. Now that the man is halfway through his life, he really didn't want to fast forward any further. The next day at work, just entered the office. The boss smiled at him. He said that he would let the director take over his job after retirement, and then let the man to take over the director's class. After hearing the promise of promotion, the man's face is green.
No! I don't want a promotion! No!
This man woke up to find he had become a 300-pound fat man.
Oh my God, I'm a fat guy!
He shook his body muscles, pulled out the remote control at his waist. It allows him to fast forward a full 10 years. Not only that, even his son has become a big fat guy. Luckily, his daughter grew up to be a little girl. Just when the man was excited to hug his wife, but she pushed him away with disgust. The wife turned around and took the hand of another man. The man thought he was growing green grass on his head, began to fight with each other, but his wife did not help him at all. Seeing that they are about to fight, the man hurriedly pressed the pause button. At this time, the strange old man appeared again. He said that within the next 10 years, the remote control started cruising according to memory. Whenever a man is in conflict between family and work, the choice is always work. The wife had tried to save the marriage. Press the play button. The man wanted to explain everything clearly, but at that moment, the dog rushed over to him. He pushed the man against the wall. When he woke up again, it was 6 years later, when he was taken to the hospital. He was diagnosed with cancer. The remote control automatically fast-forwards him to the cure. The man returns to work. He found that his son, who was originally fat, had lost weight. He said he wanted to invite his grandparents over for dinner tonight, but the son changed his expression. It turned out that the man's father had died a long time ago. The man used the remote control, recreating the last meeting with his father. He was still working overtime that day. His father cautiously invited him to dinner, but the man refused without raising his head. The old man had to use one last trick. He whispered to the man that if he attended the dinner, he promised to tell the man the secret of the magic trick, but the man refused again in cold blood. He also confessed that he had already seen through his magic tricks. The old man bowed his head like a frosted eggplant. He touched his son with embarrassment. He whispered his apology, and then turned away despondently. The man who rewatched all this regretted it. Now he could only replay his father's words over and over again. "I love you, son."
I love you to death.
Back to reality. The man confesses at his father's grave. The strange old man reappears. He confesses that he is in fact the angel of death. Now the man's life is about to end. He runs away in fear. The man turns around and looks at his framed lover. The more he thinks about it, the angrier he gets. You feel that?
You feel that, Mr.
Press the remote control in his hand. Time returns to normal. The love interest's face showed a happy expression, but just then the dog rushed over, pushed the man against the wall. When he woke up again, it was 6 years later. Life's remote control automatically fast-forwarded him to healing. At his son's wedding, the band plays the music of a man's first date with his ex-wife, but now she's holding someone else's hand. The man pulls out the remote again. While dancing together, the daughter in the distance called out to her stepfather as her father. The man is saddened to hear it. He had a heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital again. During the days he was in a coma, his daughter never left him. He was moved to hold his daughter's hand. That's when his son said he had to go. Something had happened at work. He canceled his honeymoon and had to go on a business trip. When the man heard this, he panicked. He was afraid that his son would follow the same path as his own. But the man who was recovering from a serious illness had no strength to speak. He could only watch his son and daughter leave. He struggled to stand up, panting and panting. He walked through the pouring rain, but just a few dozen meters from the door, the man collapsed. Luckily, his son saw him. The family all rushed over. The man used his last strength, told his son to forget about work, prioritize the family. At this point, the exhausted man could no longer say anything. He could only silently say sorry. Then he handed his ex-wife a note. This is the note they wrote on their first date. After the two had done everything they wanted to do, the man gradually closed his eyes. He left peacefully. But then the camera pans. But the man appeared in the supermarket bed. He was overjoyed. It was all a dream. He runs back to his parents' house first, kissed his father furiously. Then he ran home and wrote hundreds of words on a piece of paper. You'd think he'd be working late. He was actually writing his plans for the whole vacation. It starts tomorrow. The kids are smiling, and the smiles were back on his wife's face. But that's when he saw the remote control on the dining room table and a piece of paper on top. The paper said you will make the right choice this time. The man smiles and picks up the remote control and threw it in the trash. Today, he will no longer leave his family behind for the sake of someone else's so-called success and leave his family behind.